Joining me right now, Idaho Congressman Russ Fulcher. Good to see you, Congressman.
Trish, thank you. It's great to be here, and it's great to come to you from Idaho, where there's still a little bit of sanity.
Yeah, tell me about that sanity, because I'm here in New York City, where, you know, they don't have a ton.
Well, there's definitely a coup underway, and you know, you talked about a hostile takeover. I come from the corporate world, and shareholders want results, and right now, Congress is just not delivering them. There's not been one thing that the Democrat majority has delivered in this Congress. But the president has, but we're not talking about it. Just in the last month, I think it's, what, 168,000 new jobs and lowest unemployment since 1969. We took a very, very, very bad man out in the last 2-3 weeks.
And we took the number 2 out as well.
We're not talking about that.
So
that's right.
So talk to me about the corporate analogy then, because I think that's kind of interesting. You come from the corporate world. I come from the business economics world. So I tend to try to look at things minus all the emotion, minus all the hysteria of politics. With all this in mind, if you were a shareholder right now and you had a CEO who was performing and you had great earnings reports, one after another, you just look at those jobs reports, you look at the increase in wages, you look at the labor participation rate, you look at the stock market, wouldn't you say, okay, this is a well-performing CEO? I don't think we need to go in and completely retool, remake this company because it's doing kind of okay. And yet that is exactly what the Democrats want. And I don't think shareholders, or rather American citizens, those people out there in Idaho, I don't think they want it. Am I right?
Well, Trish, you need to understand the real reason that this has all come about. In recent decades, there's been a network, a parasitic network, if you will, where bureaucrats who've been there 10, 20, 30, 40 years, they've got this system put in place that they get things done, largely partnered with the Democrat Party. They get things done by circumventing the rules, by having their own network in place. Then a guy like Trump comes to town, and he stirs it all up. And he starts firing people and shifting things around. And in the intelligence community, for example, heavy and bureaucratic personnel, Comey gets fired, and McCabe, and then Brennan loses his clearance, and so that parasitic network gets threatened. It makes them threatened, and when they're threatened, they do desperate things. They're in desperate mode right now.
Were they planning it all along? I mean, I think they were. I look at those tweets from the guy who's now representing the whistleblower, this lawyer, Mark Zaid, and it's very clear he had no use for the president. He was wishing this on, and it's almost as though, you know, they just kept trying things, as you saw in that video montage that we played. I mean, they had their intentions all along, and they just kept ratcheting it up. I mean, first they just didn't like the guy. Then it was the Russians stole the election because he was a Manchurian candidate, and the Mueller report was supposed to prove all that. That didn't happen. You had the Kavanaugh disaster with them attacking him so regularly, and now here we are today with impeachment to nowhere hearings, because, by the way, it's not going to see the light of day in the Senate. What's the point?
Well, that's right, and the bottom line is that the Democrat Party and a lot of those bureaucrats I talked about never wanted to accept the 2016 election. And so they're taking just desperate steps to try to reverse it. But those shareholders, to make that analogy again, that's right, those shareholders again, they are they're the American voter. They made a decision in 2016, and you know what? They could make the decision again in less than 1 year. In less than 1 year from right now, this could be decided by the voters of America.
Well,
but the Democrat Party does not have a candidate.
That is how we run a country. The voters decide. Congressman Fulcher, good to see you. Thank you so much. Good to see you tonight.